Hello, parasocial besties. Welcome back to the channel. We have the Rat Pack. Today, we have Molly. Not important. Today we're talking about the Women's March. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. Can you tell I actually tried today? I put on my little hyper feminine flippy. I want to feel girly today to memorialize the Women's March. And I get it. Girly is a construct. Gender is a construct. It doesn't matter. I love being hyper feminine, and so that's what I chose today. With that being said, we all know, politically, still not there yet. Still learning. So I'm sure I'll be showing my ass. Some of my takes might be outdated. Please, again, call it out, girl. I don't want to foster a community of people who are just ignorant, willfully so. So don't be afraid to be like, hey, that was a take. It's all good, man. That's how you grow. By and large, most of these aren't really political. I've just seen them while I was scrolling Instagram because TikTok's dead now to me because I deleted the app, so I don't have it anymore. So I've been spending a lot of time on Instagram. So that's where these came from. Some of them were from our faves. We love BJs. But I figure with all of the stuff going on right now, all of the turmoil a lot of women might be feeling, or not even women, fucking marginalized people, we're feeling the sting of this. So let's giggle today just a little. I don't really know how long this video is gonna wind up being. I don't really care, alright? I just want some funny ha-has. And then 2 real people points. Let's get into it. Also, before we get started, okay, come here. If you join the Parasocial Bestie Club, you're joining the resistance. Resistance to what? I'm not really sure yet. My body tends to be resistant to gluten, that's why I get so fat when I have it. Hopefully that doesn't happen when you subscribe, but we're resisting things, so go ahead and subscribe. Join the Parasocial Bestie Resistance. Okay, now it's time for the video. So the reason I got so into the Women's March, outside of obvious reasons that hi, woman, and interested in furthering women and marginalized lives and not regressing. Outside of that, I was scrolling through and I'd seen from the Women's March account this fucking diva in the background. Who is she? And I'm using that as the meme. I'm not trying to misgender this person if they're not a she. And yeah, obviously the jackets, March your future depends on it, because it does. I was just very distracted by the queen in the back in full Avatar cosplay. Next up, we have Keep Your Tiny Hands Off My Uterus. I wish they had used kid hands, because I think that'd be a lot funnier if they just had a bunch of baby hands, because realistically, they're the same size. As if I have any room to talk though. You see these little grabbers? They're not grabbing shit. I know it's not his fault that he has tiny hands, but I don't care. He's running around with this big dick energy. You better back it up. These are second peni. Sorry, that was gross. But I'm keeping it. I really like this one. It says men of quality don't fear equality, because I think about that a lot when I talk to random men in my life, some family, when I talk to certain men, and I'm the way things are going, it just kind of feels like women's rights are being taken away, and just trying to express what I'm feeling, and then I get hit with a not all men. I didn't say that, Jared. I said some men, but the fact that you're now defending yourself paints a picture, in my opinion. I feel when I hear men be well, all women are bitches and sluts. First off, hilarious. If I could be a slut, I would run around and be a slut. So I'm not offended. And women are bitches. Yeah, I'm a bitch because you're an asshole. Leave me alone. Again, not defensive, because yeah, I don't get defensive, and most people don't get defensive over shit that they don't align with. So if you're well, not all men, and some men are good, I need you to go back in time and think about the things you've talked about, for example, in the locker room, and think, maybe that's why I feel like this. And then reflect and grow and change, because it's okay to have had shitty takes in the past and then try and grow. We will always support growth here. So if you're feeling triggered by someone saying that men of quality don't fear equality, I need you to do some journaling, some deep reflecting, scribble that rage out. Because sometimes it's really not fair to be a man. And I'm not saying that as a pick-me-ass bitch. I'm saying it as yeah, there are a lot of inequalities when it comes to some men. They're not believed in terms of assault a lot of the times. And they're gonna argue, well, some women make it up. Okay, that doesn't mean we need to ignore everybody else who's not making it up. So my favorite one is So Bad Introverts Are Here. And we thank you for your service, because God knows that's a pain in the ass to get out of the house when 1, you're introverted, 2, maybe you're depressed, 3, maybe you're anxious because you think you might get pop out at a march and rally. So honestly, huge fat fucking props just to begin with to any person who showed up to this march, because that would be so scary when it's such a polarizing topic. That's a fucking sentence. It's scary to attend a women's march because it's such a polarizing and upsetting topic. You could get attacked there. We'll leave it there. Speaking of being a bitch, I know. I'm standing up for myself. I am such a bitch. That's all I need to say, is that is hilarious. I don't really have a point for that one. I just really liked it. Some of these, no point, just vibes. Okay, so this one's really relevant to my recent therapy session. To all the men feeling attacked right now, maybe you should try smiling. I had a best friend in high school, and I loved her, and she's a really good person. So this is not a drag. It's just a commentary on this little post. I remember being in high school and being why don't the boys like me? What is going on? I have really bad resting bitch face or bored face. If I'm just You know what's funny though? Actually, now that I'm looking at my monitor, I don't look nearly as bitchy as I used to because I've physically trained myself to like run around like eyebrows up because I have a very heavy brow. So like I have to like, oh my god. At the time I didn't know that. And I ran around looking real pissed off all the time. So she's like, why don't you try smiling more? Boys love when you smile. And at the time I was like, oh, like that makes so much sense, but I don't want to. Fuck those boys. So I don't know why I asked for her feedback. Because I fully just went, that's great. So anyway, I don't want to do that. But like, I have noticed that that became so ingrained in my brain that I was literally talking about this in therapy yesterday, where I was like, a lot of people lately say that I've just been staring at them and that I have no thoughts, just looking at them when they talk. And it's because I didn't realize that the more work I'm doing internally, the more I just stopped smiling as much. Not because I'm depressed, but because I'm like, it's so much work to just like, hi, and put it on all the time. I love doing it here because that's kind of the fucking purpose. I think it's so much fun to like put on a show and get into it. And in real life, a lot of the time I am like that. However, the older I get, the bitchier I get and the less I like to smile. It is just annoying to have to do every time I go to the store. People telling women to smile is something that will send me over the edge because I wouldn't want to tell someone to smile. Because if they're not happy, I don't want them to force it and fake it. I'm babbling. We're gonna keep it moving. I really just love the art on this one, the take up space. It was just so different than anything that I had seen that it grabbed my attention. So I was like, ooh, I want to show this one off. I really like this one. If my vagina shot bullets, it would have less regulation. Fun fact, I told you this was gonna get anecdotal. You knew what you were signing up for. Strap in, ladies and ladies. The guy who popped someone in front of me, my old coworker. He's only in prison until 2031. It is currently 2025 and he ended a man's life. And during his interrogation, they had asked him, if you didn't have your gun, would you have made the same choice? And he fucking without a thought said no, because he wouldn't have. Because if he had a knife, he would have fucking ran. It's easier to defend yourself when someone's running at you if you have a gun, but knowing that you wouldn't shoot them if you didn't have a gun got to me.
I worded this wrong. What I meant to say is that my coworker wouldn't have killed the man. He would have ran away according to my coworker himself.
So that's kind of where I'm gonna leave that because I don't really want to get into like the whole topic of abortion. I just think it's a really interesting perspective that a man who took someone's life after admitting that he really didn't need to was only in prison till 2031. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. It's something to chew on, you feel me? Next up, we have the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. All I gotta say is that I think during this last presidential run, we noticed that that quote really hit home for some of us. Some people I noticed in people's orbits didn't really care as much as they probably should have for the livelihood of their closest friends and family. And they were like, I don't really like either candidate, so I'm just not gonna vote. Okay. So that is still causing harm to people because now you're just fucking your vote and being like, who cares? Like, I'm not gonna vote for anything. I don't agree with anything, so like, it doesn't matter. Then vote for the lesser of two evils, which I feel like we all know who the lesser of two evils was. And it certainly wasn't Tiny Hands over there. I'm not saying she was the best. I am saying she was better than that. It was just really disheartening to interact with some people post-election and be like, oh, like, what were you thinking about everything that's going on? Like, it's kind of distressing, huh? Especially to some of my female friends. They're like, I don't really care. No big deal. I guess I'm using the word friend loosely. They were acquaintances. They were women I just kind of talked to. Needless to say, we're not super close anymore. We don't love indifference in this house. We love annoying people. I'm annoying people. We have my immigrant family pays more taxes than Trump, and we'll just leave that one there. I like it. Sex is cool, but have you ever fucked the system? Man, the system's been fucking us for the past ever. I think it's a good time to strap on and fuck the system right back. Just in general, I really like the message of this one. The power of the people is much stronger than the people in power. I just like it, okay? Action is the antidote to despair. So the reason I pulled this one is because I was having a really interesting conversation with my partner the other day. We both had gotten some alert through our Apple News and it was like Trump did some other stupid fucking thing. We both had the same knee jerk. My knee jerk was to ignore it. I was like, okay, whoop, slide, ignore. We can't fucking do anything, so what's it matter? And then it hit me. That's a fucking problem because pretty much everybody I knew historically had the same mentality. It's all very individualistic, and a lot of what I hear from a lot of the people who tend to be more conservative leaning that are either like close family or like family friends, you know what I mean? So like kind of hard to escape with peace and love. They have some interesting takes. For example, individualism is the way. Collectivism doesn't work. I was straight up told that the other day. But you know, why riot, why rally, why storm the capital if collectivism doesn't work? I'm just curious. For people who really don't think that collectivism works, it's so interesting that they collected and like grouped up and stormed the Capitol because baby hands over here had a tantrum, and that's just not happening. Not in this Christian Minecraft server. No, no, no. I really like this quote. It wasn't until I had a son that I understood the importance of respecting men and boys. Which is funny because then when I told my partner about it, who is male, he was like, that's so interesting. Like, I've never heard a man say, I never knew what it meant to respect a woman until I had a daughter. And I was like, whoa, that's so interesting. Because can't relate. Maybe not this exact verbiage. However, the variation typically goes, I didn't know what it meant to love a woman until I had a daughter. I didn't understand how to appreciate femininity until I had a daughter.
Men get so disappointed when they find out their pregnant partner is having a girl because they realize they'll have to spend the next 18 plus years protecting that little girl from all of the harassment that they have tried to convince other women does not exist. There's a reason why fathers, brothers, and uncles are so overprotective. Men don't even trust other men.
Somehow my computer ran out of space. I don't know how. I've made longer videos than this on my computer, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Hi, here I am on my phone. Unfortunately, all the pictures exist on my phone, so we really can't continue this process. If you did like this video, let me know because I have way more of these posts screenshotted because I thought it was so fun going through these posts and seeing some of these positive messages, seeing some of these funny messages. And I know sometimes we just need to go through the trauma. So yeah, let me know. If you hated it, we'll never do it again. You just gotta let me know. Bye.